So, do you ever wonder what goes on in the minds of a dementia patient when they're either sleeping or in this like semi-comatose vegetative state that you see them in when they're in the advanced stages of their disease? Well, I had a couple of experiences with me and my connection with my mother last week, and I tried to figure out what was going on. And in this video, I describe the situation and what I did to try to learn what might be happening. And stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it. So my name is Dawn Dickinson and the channel is Living Your Best Life Over 55. So I want to start by giving you a little bit of a background. I've done some videos on dementia, and it's basically anecdotal stories on the experience I've had with my own mother. Now, my mother is in an advanced memory care facility in Avondale, Arizona. It's actually one of the very best facilities in the state of Arizona. She is 4 years into a diagnosis of both vascular dementia and Alzheimer's disease. In fact, she was considered a hospice patient, but because she hadn't passed away in the 1 year time frame, they took away that hospice and have considered her now just a regular dementia patient. So again, we have watched her mental capacity decline pretty rapidly over the last 4 years, but it kind of comes in waves. She'll kind of be stable, and then something will happen and she'll decline rapidly, and then she'll kind of continue on in her somewhat vegetative, somewhat conscious state. One day she'll know who I am, the next day she has no idea who I am. So it's kind of interesting that she will regress and improve and regress and improve, and you never know what you're going to find when you go to visit her. So I live about 2 hours away from Avondale. I live in Sedona, Arizona. My daughter lives about an hour and a half away, and yesterday we decided to go visit her. So I went with my 22-year-old daughter and my 24-year-old son. Now, my 24-year-old son loves to visit his grandmother, but he has high-functioning autism, and he gets very disturbed when we go into the memory care facility. And I am thinking that sometimes maybe people with autism, I don't know this is just a theory, that maybe they have a little bit of an enhanced psychic ability or sensitivity to either the other side or things that are going on. And he doesn't like visiting his grandmother because he seems to sense this darkness in the facility. And I think it's because he's around many people who are very close to death. And so I think that's why he's disturbed to go into the facility, but nonetheless, he wanted to see his grandmother. So we go to see my mother yesterday, and it actually was a pretty good visit. She was in pretty good health. She seemed to remember who all of us were and was enjoying our company. What has happened recently that I wanted to kind of clarify with her is twice in the last 2 weeks, I've had a dream of my mother. Now, I am not the type that dreams much at all, and I guess maybe I do dream, but I just don't remember my dreams. But in the last 2 weeks, I've had two separate dreams of my mother where I'm kind of sleeping, and then I see her. She is like there, and she's in her wheelchair, and she's smiling. She looks pretty good, but she doesn't look like she did before the illness, but she looks about like she does now, but slightly better, you know, a little bit glowing. And then she is there for maybe 15 seconds, and then she fades away and she's gone. Both times, as soon as that happened, I kind of wake up in a daze, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I just had a death visit from my mother, and in the morning I'm going to get a call from the facility that said she passed away. Now, the reason my mind thinks that is because I am very much a believer of this woo-woo stuff. I think that people, when they pass, it's possible for them to come visit you to say goodbye, like a death goodbye. And I've read many paranormal stories where this has happened, and this is why I thought at the time that this is what's happening. Oh my gosh, Mom has visited me to say goodbye, but that did not happen. So with that not happening, while I was in the facility, I thought I would question her a little bit, because I'm wondering, you know, do people with dementia, are they having out-of-body experiences at night or when they're kind of in that semi-conscious state? So I asked her, Mom, hey Mom, I had a dream of you twice last week, and I dreamed that you were just there and you were smiling and you were saying hello. Did you have a dream of me too, where we may be communicating telepathically? And she's like, oh, no, I didn't have any dreams. I didn't have any dreams of you. So we kind of dismissed it and went on from there. But now it's hard to say if she didn't have a dream, if she just doesn't remember having a dream, because again, she can't remember things that happened 10 minutes ago. So it's possible she did have a dream and doesn't remember it. We maybe are connecting. Maybe she is having an out-of-body experience or astral projection and trying to say hello to me. And it was just a rare opportunity that I picked up on it. But to give you also perspective of the memory, my father passed away 20 years ago, and recently my mother seems to not remember that he's dead. So while we were there, my son asked me, I don't know why this question came up, but he goes, so was Grandpa vice president of engineering when he died? And Mom sees this and she's like, what? Who died? And I'm like, oh no, we are not going through this again, because often we'll be there and Mom will not realize my father is dead, and then somebody will tell her she's dead and she'll start crying like it's the first time when your loved one dies that you've heard about it. So we're experiencing his death over and over again, and I'm not doing it again. It's really hard emotionally. So I said, oh no, Mom, we were talking about Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob's death anniversary was Monday, and it was 25 years, and I was talking to Aunt Marge, and he went out to the cemetery, and that's what we were talking about. It was Uncle Bob, and it was 25 years ago. And she's like, oh, okay, and we kind of moved on. So that is kind of puts you in a perspective how she can't remember stuff. She can't remember the biggest traumatic incident of our family when she became a widow at 62 years old. So it's possible that she did have some type of an out-of-body experience, and she's maybe trying to communicate with people and she just doesn't remember it, and that would happen when she is conscious, and maybe these experiences are happening to her when she is not conscious, or when she is in that vegetative type state that I see her in. And she's also has a very hard time communicating now, and it's because she just doesn't remember words like to construct a sentence in English. She's probably about the level of a 3 to a 5-year-old. So for her to put a sentence together, it's difficult for us to communicate. So it's, again, I'm sorry, I would love to have some evidence to support a theory of what might be going on with the dementia patients. Are they becoming more psychic? Are they having out-of-body experiences? Are they doing astral projection? Or are they just kind of in darkness and alone? And that idea is very sad to me, and I hope that's not what is happening. But if any of you guys have a theory, I would certainly love to hear it in the comments, because I'm, again, fascinated by what happens to people when they're in this state. And of course, it's very sad, so anything that would cheer me up to think my mom is not just alone and sad all of the time, and maybe she is able to see her loved ones. Now, the other thing that's happened recently is she's talking about how her mother comes to talk to her, and how my father even comes to see her. And so I'm not sure if she's dreaming, she's hallucinating, or she is having visits from people on the other side. So curious to know what you think about that. Again, my name is Dawn Dickinson, and the channel is Living Your Best Life Over 55. I try to post videos every single week about things that would help baby boomers and Gen Xers deal with having the best happy life. So if you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and I hope to see you back here again next week.